So, folks, I need you all to know Donald Trump is on the ropes. He's not doing okay. And very specifically, I'm not talking about like, oh, he's not doing okay because Democrats don't like him or because, people on the left don't like him. I'm saying he's not doing okay because basically his entire plan right now going forward is falling apart. And I can think of nothing more emblematic of this than this particular story coming out of Georgia, where Georgia Republicans, who were all set to redistrict, failed to do so today.
I'm a voice for Georgia. The people of this state asked me to fight for them, and so I'm going to continue to do that. So this is in the legislature's hand. It's in the governor's hand. I hope he will hear from his own people. In the meantime, I will continue to leave the door open for my colleagues in the Georgia congressional delegation to join me in banning gerrymandering.
Hi again, everybody. It's now 5 o'clock in the East. The power of the people. Today, Republicans in Georgia went against their state's Republican governor and opted to scrap plans to redraw that state's congressional map ahead of the 2028 election. As to why they did that, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution reports this, quote, "The decision comes after weeks of mounting pressure from Democrats, voting rights groups, and even some uneasy Republicans who warned that reopening redistricting could energize Democratic voters and overshadow a pivotal stretch of the campaign season." Speaking ahead of that special session, as you just heard, was Senator Raphael Warnock, a fierce defender of democracy and voting rights in his state and in the...
Breaking news. Literally broken video stream there. But Republicans couldn't do it. They looked at the amount of people that had already mobilized and turned out in Georgia to show how mad they were, and they did the mental math, and it turns out it was looking really bad for them if they kept going down this road. Because basically, in Georgia, if you tried to do this kind of gerrymandering, the amount of turnout you might see in backlash to it could essentially render it a dummy mander. Like, the amount of people who were upset about this, both Republican and Democrat, was substantial. And ultimately, despite the pushing of Donald Trump, despite the pushing of their Republican governor, they said, "No, we're not going to do that." They canceled the special session to redistrict at the very last minute, and it's due in no small part because folks like Raphael Warnock were organizing in Georgia toward this end, toward essentially mass mobilization to ensure that voting rights weren't stripped from the people of the state. And it worked. It worked. It's really cool to see. And Donald Trump didn't really take this very well because he's been freaking out all day. Maybe it's because the reflecting pool isn't working out. Maybe it's because Republicans in sizable portions of the United States are rejecting his direct orders. Who can say? But he's basically doubling down on all of the worst parts of his policies right now, whether it is pursuing indictments against peaceful protesters, or in this case, he's threatening to pull unemployment benefits from every single state. Every single state. I've never seen anything like this, but if you've ever studied how empires die, the last thing on earth someone in charge of America right now should do is pull all unemployment benefits, because then you've got a bunch of people who are unemployed with all the time in the world. And I gotta say, the only way that I can think that this would be at all part of any kind of coordinated plan is if the Trump administration is truly saying, fuck it, deciding they want to impose martial law in some form or fashion, because this is how you get like people rioting in the streets. This is how you get bread riots, you know? They've already slashed all of the other social services to the bone. JD Vance last month talked about how they were going to be cutting Medicaid benefits even further. And Donald Trump announced this because he's basically like, well, fraud. It's such a problem. We'll have to end all of these fraudulent unemployment payments to all the states. This would cause like a catastrophic collapse. I hope people understand that, right? Like the amount of damage that would be done to individuals, to cities, towns, states is incalculable, right? I don't know. You're on track to being one of the most hated presidents in history, and you're only halfway through, not even halfway through, and you're already being like, well, you know what? We're going to cut all the benefits. No one gets any support whatsoever if they lose their job. You're just fucked. And they say, oh, well, that'll be fine. That's okay. I'm fine with it. Like, yeah, I guess you're fine with it right up until, the 50 people who just got laid off from the factory start, like, hurling bricks through windows. I've never seen a president go scorched earth on his own country before. Now, this was communicated in a letter to the governors of 53 states and territories by Acting Labor Secretary Keith Sonderling, who said that the federal government would use every tool available to combat waste, fraud, and abuse within state-run unemployment insurance programs, including withholding administrative funds from states for the first time in history. There is no single national program for unemployment support, though the federal government partners with state agencies to support temporary financial assistance to out-of-work Americans. Nearly 2 million people are currently receiving those benefits, with roughly 229,000 people are filing initial jobless claims every week.
Everyone, Donald Trump, you suck. Donald Trump, hold my beer.
I'll show you how much I can suck. Bring me Bubba. Anime Sidekick Gal, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciated. But, it's just another day in Trump's America. Like, I don't really know if I can communicate to you guys how devastating this would be. I'm sure most of you intuitively understand it. But, like, if you're saying, oh, hey, the state level programs would continue and would support people, no, they wouldn't. Almost all, and I might even go as far as saying all state level unemployment programs are made possible by the federal funding. If you take away the federal funding, the state level programs cease to function, right? It would be catastrophic to hundreds of thousands of people and millions of people on top of that immediately. Nindrian, thank you for subscribing. Hope you're feeling okay. So yeah, I just have to imagine JD Vance is furious right now because he's being left holding like a rancid dog doo-doo in the Republican view by being pinned to the Iran deal. JD Vance is also left trying to sell this idea that no, guys, it's okay. It's totally great that millions of people will no longer be able to stay in their apartments if they lose their jobs. Which is a pretty hard sell, it turns out. On top of this, got some additional really bad news. Okay? Since Donald Trump is trying to consolidate power in his administration because he doesn't trust many other people and also is, well, dealing with an increasingly hostile Congress, we'll say. And the idea that he might be able to get more people through the confirmation process to run different agencies becomes a dimmer and dimmer prospect with every passing day. So, yesterday, Donald Trump announced that special education and civil rights oversight would no longer be controlled by the Department of Education. Instead, civil rights oversight would be handled by the DOJ, which, by the way, also is now in charge, by extension, of student privacy protection, meaning that the DOJ Civil Rights Division, or Civil Rights Enforcement, rather, has access to student data, which is almost certainly going to be used to crack down on trans students, go after them. But this also means that the Department of Health and Human Services takes over special education. And some of you may have seen this clip going around already, but that does mean that RFK Jr. is now in charge of special education in this country.
These are children who should not be suffering like this. These are kids who, many of them were fully functional and regressed because of some environmental exposure into autism when they're 2 years old. And these are kids who will never pay taxes, they'll never hold a job, they'll never play baseball, they'll never write a poem, they'll never go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted. And we have to recognize we are doing this to our children, and we need to put an end to it.
We aren't doing anything to our children. RFK Jr. lives in a fantasy world where kids who get vaccinated become autistic via some unknown mechanism. That doesn't happen. What happens is when kids get vaccinated, they are less likely to die from communicable diseases. Like, that's actually a good thing. More children live, which is good. I don't know what to tell you about that, but yeah, his entire position is people who are on the who are autistic or on the spectrum, they'll never go on dates. They'll never play baseball. They'll never hold down a job. And it's just like, there are plenty of autistic people who hold down jobs, play baseball, and get laid constantly. The tism riz is very real. All right? Like, the tism riz, people like it. People like direct communication. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh no, won't someone please think of the taxpayers? Every child grows up wanting to be taxpayer.
It's true. When I was 5 years old, I said, Mom, I want to be a taxpayer. That's my job. And she said, one day you will, sweetie. One day you will. And look at me now, Mom. I'm a taxpayer. I lost my tism riz and just got more tism. Nah. You look, you just gotta cultivate a new special interest within yourself of having a special interest in people. You'll be getting laid left and right. It's crazy. It's crazy. Tism riz is just being delightfully autistic. It's true. People like it. RFK Jr. is really making it hard for me not to Fed post. Continue not Fed posting, my friend.
I pay taxes, but I wish my parents would have left a little nepo in this tism.
Nightlight plus you Jesus, thank you for the sub. And Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. Appreciate you both. Yeah, so I don't know, guys. I'm not super comfortable with the idea that the guy who sliced off the head of a dead whale and forced his screaming children to drive with it dripping into their car and on top of them home. I'm not really comfortable with that guy who staged a bear assassination by bicycle in Central Park. I'm not really cool with this guy managing the affairs of children who, encounter the special education program in America. Yeah, the raccoon penis thing. I don't know. RFK Jr. is a particularly disgusting man in so many different ways. God. It's really stupid. And then you get to what he said about, like, African American children and how they need to be reparented on work camps It's truly disturbing where we've come in just less than 2 years. You can call me Jess says, my son is on the spectrum. He's been in a relationship with the same woman for 6+ years. He's a stay-at-home dad, has 2 beautiful, intelligent, sweet baby girls. Now tell me again how a person on the spectrum will not lead a good, productive life. Exactly. I don't know. Like, it's just such horse shit. It's horse shit enabled by people who are just like, oh yeah, no, someone's autistic. They'll never be able to walk by themselves. Like, the conservatives who believe this shit have no idea what autism is. They have no idea what it is. It's crazy. That's right. RFK Jr. literally thinks that poppers give you AIDS. It's nuts. In 2026. But, of course, there are more profound problems with Trump's coalition because let's be real, cutting all, unemployment benefits to all the states and putting RFK Jr. in charge of special education, those are relatively normal things for Donald Trump to do. They're insane, but they are within the spectrum of normalcy he's created for himself. This, however, caught my eye, and I think a lot of people should be more aware of it, right? Which is, Donald Trump is apparently fighting with John Thune now, the Senate Majority Leader, and it's, I gotta be honest, right now, of all times to pick a fight with the Senate Majority Leader is insane to me. Like, especially when you're trying to get Republicans on board with your Iran deal, and you're trying to put that behind you while you're trying to make picks for who's going to win the Republican primaries, like it's some kind of March Madness bracket. Like, dude is crashing out in real time. President upended the majority leader's plans by yanking his intelligence nominee from a confirmation hearing and insisting on an end to the filibuster. And this is going to be a non-starter for John Thune and the Republicans in Congress because, frankly, Republicans benefit exponentially more from having a filibuster than they do from getting rid of it. Democrats absolutely should get rid of the filibuster. The first opportunity they get, they should get rid of the filibuster and pass some kick-ass legislation, okay? That, I think, is necessary for us to unfuck the situation we found ourselves in as a country. Effectively, John Thune isn't going to end the filibuster. That's what it really boils down to. He's not going to do that. And, I mean, because he intends fully to still be around long after Donald Trump is gone. And he knows, as most Republicans in Congress do, that they're going into a time where it's incredibly likely Democrats are going to control the House and the Senate. And if they get rid of the filibuster, that is a huge problem for them that they have just created for no apparent benefit, right? So this is odd, to say the least. Mr. Trump blindsided his supposed allies in the Senate, who all, by the way, are already upset because he stabbed was it John Cornyn in the back in the Texas race and endorsed Ken Paxton instead. And like, Ken Paxton is an insane, crazy person. And most Republicans in Congress view this move as both fucking them over when it comes to trying to get control, like maintain control of both the House and the Senate, and also as like a betrayal of like, we're the guys on the inside. You're not supposed to be like turning knives on us. And so like congressional Republicans are already very upset about this. Well, Donald Trump decided in the middle of this to pick another fight. Mr. Trump blindsided his supposed allies in the Senate on Wednesday with a rocket of a social media post from across the Atlantic, tying together a host of his pet peeves about the Senate while yanking his new nominee for National Intelligence Director from his confirmation hearing just hours before it was to occur. So again, this fucks up all of their scheduling, all of their time. Like, what the hell? Like, this is baffling, not just from like a partisan perspective, like of a person on the left, criticizing Donald Trump on the right. This is baffling from just like even if you didn't attach any weight to any kind of political ideology whatsoever, this would be a baffling political move for someone to do. It was an extraordinary move for a president whose own party controls the chamber, but just the latest sign of a major rupture between Mr. Trump and the GOP senators as the midterm elections approach. Because things are starting to break down now. Like, the Iran war really put a bunch of weight on this coalition, and it's starting to buckle. Because they're deeply unhappy with the terms of the agreement. Mr. Trump's abrupt announcement pulled the rug out from under the carefully laid plans of Senator John Thune, the South Dakota Republican and Majority Leader, who's been toiling to clean up yet another mess the president created for his party last week when he named his loyalist Bill Polt to serve as the Director of National Intelligence. Mr. Thune had been moving expeditiously to confirm Jay Clayton for the post to avoid an ugly confrontation over the temporary installation of Mr. Polt, who is opposed by members of both parties. Again, Mr. Polt was the guy who proposed the 50-year mortgages as like an idea to get people to buy houses, you know, because everyone wants to basically become an indentured servant for the rest of their lives to their house. It was a brilliant plan, so clearly he should be in charge of national intelligence. Mr. Thune's plan was working. Democrats who have almost uniformly opposed Mr. Trump's nominee suggested they would cooperate with the rapid confirmation of Mr. Clayton until the president stepped in. On top of pulling back his nominee, Mr. Trump piled on even more stringent conditions. He demanded that Senate Republicans attach stalled legislation on voting restrictions to a critical surveillance bill, and insisted that he would not move forward with Mr. Clayton until his replacement as the U.S. attorney was confirmed, a process that would take weeks at a minimum and would face Democratic resistance. This is basically just Donald Trump showed up, shot Senate Republicans in the dick, and then walked away for no reason. There is nothing that was gained out of this. He set his own agenda back, and he set several of his cronies' agendas back. It's interesting to see, to say the least. Now, I think that the damage has already been done. Like John Thune, it's going to take another handful of weeks to basically fix this. And the problem is, Republicans in Congress are running out of time to try and get their agenda done, right? They're running out of time to get things done that will make people forget that Donald Trump and the Republican Party led them into a disastrous Iran defeat. And every week wasted, every delayed meeting is only... it's doing attrition damage, essentially, at this point. This is all bad. We also have to talk just real quick that while all of this is going on, right? He's failing to get redistricting done in Georgia. He's failing to push forward his own agenda in the Senate. And also trying to centralize power. Like, these are the moves of a flailing authoritarian. And he hasn't even been able to consolidate that authoritarian power, thank goodness. But as we're talking about this, Republicans in a desperate bid to, Republican commentators in a desperate bid to like talk about literally anything else other than the failing administration are turning to the UK, and there's a much stronger case to be made for invading the UK, toppling its tyrannical government, and liberating its people than pretty much any regime change war to include Iran over the past 30 years. I'm Matt Walsh. Like, this is what Republican talking heads are centering right now. They are calling for racial pogroms across Europe because, again, the rhetoric coming out is truly vile, because they're trying to allege that because, there are more Muslim people now in the UK, that means there's been an invasion and now we need to have a war to fight back. I think Elon Musk called for like a Reconquista. Like there's like some deeply, deeply fucked up shit happening right now. Because, again, Matt Walsh doesn't give a shit about the UK. Matt Walsh, when has Matt Walsh ever given a shit about another country in his life? The reason he's talking about this is to distract from everything that's happening domestically with Donald Trump and the Republicans. So, I don't know. I think that we're basically seeing like the heralds of the apocalypse for MAGA showing up. And I know a lot of people in the MAGA bubble are probably feeling really smug because they don't really understand what's going on. But this is a colossal number of setbacks to have occurred in just like the last 24 hours. This is a direct threat to him being able to get people to vote for his candidates. This is a direct threat to any kind of solidarity within that MAGA coalition. And without the solidarity, you guys fucking lose every election. And that's a big problem for you guys. So it's, that's kind of where we're at right now. Donald Trump is leading y'all astray. That's even if you want Republican policies to win or the Republican Party to win. Like, if those are your goals, then he's fucking y'all over. It's crazy. It's not going great for them. And look, it's not going great for MAGA, but I can be honest with you guys. It's going great for me. I'm sitting over here eating popcorn, watching y'all disintegrate on the national stage. I have no complaints about that. I wish you would do it faster. By all means, right now, the greatest anti-MAGA infiltrator that we have is Donald Trump. I hope you guys know that. Like, Donald Trump is the biggest ally to every leftist, socialist, communist in America right now. Because he is fucking disintegrating whatever political chances you guys had in the midterms, and certainly whatever political chances you guys had in the general. Like, this is truly some self-sabotage I don't think we've seen in modern political history. I think you'd have to go back to like the 1800s to see this in anywhere near the same scale. All that being said, folks, if you got anything out of this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about all of this going down. I'm still extremely happy that redistricting failed in Georgia. I think that was a huge W, very unexpected W, but a huge W nonetheless. And also, folks, get organized. Join your local Dems. Kick those corporate Dems out. All right? Get those pro-working class Dems in. And join your local DSA. If you need help doing either of those things, join our Discord. Reach out to Gamergy for help organizing your local DSA. Reach out to Dragonfly for help organizing your local Dems. We can help you take those first steps. We can help you find where the meetings happen. We can help connect you with everything that's going on in your local political area. And also, we can help you be an effective agent of change in your area. If your local Dems suck, we can give you advice on how to make them not suck. It is, in fact, possible. And Dragonfly and Gamergy have years of experience doing just that. So please use their experience. Dragonfly notes, I will not be available this weekend, so if I don't respond, I'm not ignoring you. I'm yelling at centrists. That's the spirit. That's our warrior. So, folks, get organized. We also have a link down below to get involved with Progressive Victory, which can directly plug you into different leftist campaigns across the country to do door knocking, phone banking, text banking, research, and you can help out wherever you are in the country. So if you've got time, you got motivation, you got the inclination, get involved with Progressive Victory as well. And last but not least, check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is comfortable, sexy, non-tucking lingerie. Check it out, ImogeneOlivia.com. Link down in the doobly-doo. Let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams all our